Vice Chairman, now I recognize you, young lady.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Ranking Member, and members of the subcommittee. We are here today to make sure of one thing, really. That is to ensure that the United States continues its long-standing position of honoring the agreements it signs. That's it. For over a century now, the United States has been the guiding force on the world's geopolitical stage. Because of this position, we have often been required to insert ourselves into matters that less influential nations would or could not, often at the direction of outside bodies, such as the United Nations. And for over a century now, we have been known as a reliable partner who honors those obligations. Our credit and stature in the world as a nation that honors its obligations and duties is unsurpassed. But we are in the jeopardy of losing that stature and respect should we renege on our promises. In 1986, the United States and Palau signed a 50-year compact of free association. And as my friend from the Northern Marianas had just pointed out, which was ratified in 1993, instituted in 1994, and as a requirement of the original compact, granted a renewal in 2010. Since that time, the United States has failed to live up to its end of the bargain, despite the fact that Palau has remained a loyal and constant friend to the United States and whose citizens volunteer for our nation's armed forces at a rate much higher than those in the States, even during these times of conflict. The people of Palau clearly love the United States and the special relationship they have with us. We should do the same in return by honoring our word and adhering to the compact we signed 6 years ago. There is no question that we as Congress must honor our obligation and duty and ratify this long outstanding agreement between our two nations. It's been far too long already. My colleague's bill, H.R. 4531, will do just that by providing U.S. investment into the island and fortifying the trust fund set up to secure a future for the Republic of Palau that is financially independent and self-sustaining. Support for the ratification of the compact in Congress is bipartisan and also has the support of the Department of Defense. In fact, the sense of Congress contained in the recently Senate-passed NDAA states just that. The reason is because this compact does not only benefit the people of Palau, but it also benefits the United States a great deal, both militarily and economically. It is time that we put this issue to bed and get it done. The people of the Republic of Palau deserve as much, and we owe it to ourselves to ensure that we continue to honor our obligations and remain an example to the rest of the world when it comes to our credibility. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Ranking Member and members of the subcommittee. I want to encourage you all to support Mr. Sablan's measure, and I look forward to working with you all to see this issue through to its resolution and the United States continuing to hold its position of power and credibility in the world. Secretary Kia Aina, could you please provide the committee with the position of your department regarding the Palau Compact and the importance of getting it implemented sooner rather than later?
Thank you, Congresswoman. As was stated in my testimony, the full implementation into force of the compact agreement with the Republic of Palau is of paramount importance. Clearly for all of us, the challenge has been finding the satisfactory offsets from the appropriate agencies to fully implement the agreement with the committees of jurisdiction. It is important because the U.S. should follow up on its commitments. It's important for U.S. national security interests in the Western Pacific region. And it's important because the Republic of Palau have been an exemplary ally, not only in the Pacific, but in the world. And we take care of our friends. And so I just hope that with the progress made in the NDAA authorization vehicle, that is another avenue for exploration by the Congress in advancing forward to finality the implementation of the compact agreement.
Let me also thank you, Secretary Kia'aina, and the department for utilizing every tool at your disposal to get the compact funded. I'd like to know if there's anything that would prohibit the State Department from providing some discretionary funding as well?
Congresswoman, while I cannot speak for the U.S. State Department, I am not aware of anything that would prohibit them from providing discretionary funds. As I mentioned in my testimony, the Department of the Interior has provided, with of course appropriation committees, $92 million thus far. Post April 5th Senate hearing, the Department of the Interior was successful in working with the Office of Management and Budget and the Department of Defense in securing their support for inclusion of the full funding of the compact agreement through the NDA authorization. We believe that that was a significant shift in administration policy to utilize all of the tools available for us within the executive branch to get this agreement done.
No. I yield 10 seconds to Mr. Sablan.
Thank you very much. I want to thank the Assistant Secretary for acknowledging that it was Congress that included the $13 million and not your department, because you say how much important Palau is, and yet in your work, your submission of your budget, you don't include that money for Palau. So I just want to note the difference, and I want to thank you for acknowledging that it was Congress and not your office that submitted that.
Congressman, that's for the discretionary funding in our fiscal 2017
My 10
budget.
seconds is up.
I just have one last question, Secretary Kia'aina. In your written statement, you expressed the administration's support for S-2610 over House Bill H.R. 4531. Could you reiterate the key differences between the two bills that led to the administration's reservation with the House bill?
Congresswoman, it's the overall cost, and the difference in the cost would be $31.8 million. And so, and as well as Dr. Gutnick mentioned that the upfront costs at the, during the first year under this bill would be over $100 million. So the key for everybody is, where do you find the money? The administration continues to support S-2610. The negotiations with the U.S. Senate Energy Committee, as well as with the members of the Armed Services Committee, that included the language for the NDA authorization bill, also supports the Senate effort. So Congress clearly has the purview to add any additional elements to the 2010 agreement, but the administration stands to support the 2010 agreement. We haven't even funded it yet.
Thank you.
So to be moving beyond that is going to be challenging.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.